Welcome to the PodFathers of Sports podcast, the show that slaps you in the stats with everything sports related and beyond. Want to know who scored the hat trick or who beat the buzzer? We got that. Want to know who's on the ins and outs with who? We got that too. This is the PodFather of Sports podcast. From all preseasons to all postseasons, we got everything you need and more. And now your hosts, Jerry Ryan and Sonny Parmar. Going live in 3, 2.
Welcome to the PodFathers of Sports podcast. Welcome back, I should say. We've been on quite the hiatus over the summer. So thank you guys for coming back and tuning in for our NFL preview. I'm Jerry Ryan, along with Sonny Palmer. Sonny, it's great to see you again, my friend.
Pleasure, man. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been. Listen, I am over the fucking moon today, okay? As you know, you know this already, but for those of you that don't know, at work today, I had the pleasure, and it was for me, a pleasure.
Rightfully so.
I am a huge Notre Dame fan. So I had the one and only legendary Lou Holtz in the studio with us today. He was kind enough to take about 15 minutes or so out of his day and have a conversation of football with me, and then we talked about some other stuff. It's been a really good day for me.
Friday.
Yeah,
Lou
man.
Holtz. I'm not a Notre Dame guy.
And then, so on top of that, I get ready to sit down here. And immediately from Adam Schefter on X, formerly Twitter, the 49ers are sending their former number 3 overall pick, Trey Lance, to the Dallas Cowboys for a mid-round per sources. Lance now gets a fresh start in Dallas. He does? What about Dak Prescott? Where the fuck's he going?
Is he the backup or is he the third stringer in Dallas?
Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Does this read like this guy's going to be the backup there? So Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys for a mid-round pick, per sources. Lance now gets a fresh start in Dallas. So what? He's going to go from being the third-string quarterback to the backup for Dak Prescott, I guess.
I mean,
hey, I'm glad it happened now, right when we get ready to start. What a great way to start the show. I mean, that's fantastic for us.
Look what they gave up to get him in the first round in 2021.
I know. Please.
A king's ransom.
Yes, and then some.
Ship him out for a bag of beans.
Listen, they did the same thing for Garoppolo. They didn't give up. They didn't give up as nearly as much, right? I mean, you're right. They gave up the king's ransom to get Trey Lance, but that's what they did to Garoppolo, and then I can push him out too. Okay, well he's not doing what I want him to do. Let's ship him out. Let's move on. Now, there's been a lot of talk that I've heard today that they wanted Mac Jones and not Trey Lance, but it was John Lynch's decision and not Kyle Shanahan's. You never know how any of that shit goes.
Of course.
But I heard a soundbite today from John Lynch saying, we're very happy with Trey and blah blah blah, all this shit, right? And if we can find a place that both fits him very well and it helps us out at the same time, that's what we want to do. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm tired of these people talking to me like I'm a fucking imbecile. I really am. Okay, if you're happy with him, okay, so happy, he wouldn't be your third-string quarterback. Can we just start there, okay? If you're that happy with him.
You're looking for transparency.
Yeah, forget it. There's none. I mean, stop it.
You're asking for something that's not going to happen.
Right. So I'm just tired of them trying to tell me something that I know damn well isn't true. So, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm not a fan of theirs, so I mean that's
They would call it coach speak, but that's GM speak.
Well, it's
whatever you want to call it.
Right, it is what it is. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through each of the divisions, and we're going to each give who we think is going to finish in what order, and who maybe a couple of surprises this year, maybe who some of the players that maybe you think or I think that are going to go to the next level, or some rookies that are going to be a surprise. We're going to do fantasy football separate from this. I may touch on it a little bit at the end with a couple of, early predictions. But for the most part, this is, just straight up how we think these guys are going to finish, quote unquote real football, as opposed to fantasy football. So we'll start in the AFC East.
Our division.
Okay. And by the way, my brother and I, we went through every team in football.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks.
Okay.
We have Mac Jones. There's only 2 quarterbacks we have worse than Mac Jones.
2 that are
Yeah.
worse.
And
than
then 2 other rookies. So we don't know about them. So we left the 2 rookies out of it. And I'm gonna
Really?
So we're gonna go through this. And for all my friends in New England, anybody, I dare you to tell me I'm wrong. So we'll go through it. We'll worry about that after. Okay.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
You're right.
When you see it, you're gonna be, Jesus, man, this is amazing. Okay.
They made the playoffs in the first year with Mac Jones.
So
Anyhow.
I have it Buffalo. I have the Dolphins finishing second, the Jets third, and of course the Patriots fourth. You disagree with that?
Well, we have not much to. The whole purpose, a little jab back and forth. I'd be bullshitting everybody if that's how I have it.
Okay, if you agree, you agree. That's fine. You can agree.
Well, no, hold on. The Jets overtaking the Dolphins? It's a possibility. Buffalo coming in first? I think they have.
Okay. Now, when we pick this order, we're assuming everybody stays healthy. Okay.
Of course.
Now, if Tua goes out, okay, that might change, and the Jets may jump up to 2. I'll tell you what's not going to change. Number 1 and number 4. The Bills are going to stay up there, and the Patriots are going to stay down at the bottom. Pats are staying at the bottom.
Because of what you just alluded to.
Well, there's going to be a lot of
Jones.
reasons, right?
Trust me, you have 100 of them, I know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think the Patriots are going to finish with the worst record in football and end up with the number 1 pick by any means. I got them, winning 5 games. That's because I don't have them winning any division games. That's right, ladies. I don't care. I don't have them. They're not better than the other 3 teams, so why would I expect them to beat them? Now, are they going to? Yes. They're probably going to beat maybe Miami once and maybe the Jets once, right?
Division games
Those
are crazy.
division games, right, go any which way on Sunday. They can go crazy. So I leave a little leeway. Is it going to be closer to 7 wins? Yes. If the over and under is 7 wins for the Patriots, I'm going under.
It's funny. Yesterday, I had a couple of beers, talked to 2 Pats fans. One guy's telling me it's a 4 to 5 win team. The other guy's thinking 8 to 9. No outlandish prediction as far as playoffs or nothing.
No, listen, we went through the schedule.
They seem to be an average team at best.
Yeah. And, a lot's going to depend on how much. I said this to my youngest brother, Bob, this afternoon. I'm going to give Mac a pass for last year, okay, because he was in that dumpster fucking fire that was with, Patricia and Joe Judge.
Abortion.
Right.
That was an abortion gone bad.
Right. That was just terrible, 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 terrible. So I'm going to base on what he does from what he did in his rookie year, okay? And he was pretty good in his rookie year. So let's see if he takes a step forward from that. Can he elevate the wide receivers that they have there up a little bit? And make the offense a little bit more creative. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott helps them and he helps them in 2 ways. He helps them with pass blocking, and he'll help them down on the goal line. But I don't expect anything more than that from Ezekiel Elliott. That should be Stevenson's backfield and his backfield only.
How often do the Patriots get receivers to help the quarterback?
Well, they don't.
They don't.
Listen, that's a whole nother discussion. Right?
An offensive line, of course. That's your starting point. What tools do
well,
they
that's
give
the
Mac
other
Jones?
thing, by the way.
Where are the weapons for him?
They have one of the worst offensive lines in the entire NFL.
There you go.
So, that's why I have them winning as few games as they do.
And
Mac's probably going to get hurt anyways.
And I hear Belichick on a hot seat, which I still think is ridiculous.
Well, not necessarily. Listen, again, another conversation.
They're going to win one game? That's absurd.
This is the same conversation I had with my brother.
On.
If Bill Belichick has another losing season, if he only wins 6 or 7 games,
he'll retire.
Well, if he doesn't, should they fire him? Or now, my brother wants this. My brother wants them to fire him as the general manager. Maybe keep him as just the coach. Let somebody else start picking fucking
makes
plays.
Sense. That makes sense.
I'm okay with that. Keep him around for a year or 2, see if that works out. This is what I want. If it doesn't work out this year, go do like what a lot of the other guys have done. Go be a consultant. Just sit up in the office next to Robert Kraft and fucking go get massages from Asian ladies and drink fucking beer and wine or whatever the fuck it is that you do and just go. I don't want to. If you're gonna go.
He does spend a lot of time in Palm Beach.
So
just saying.
I know. But if you're going to get rid of him, get rid of him. I don't want if he's not going to be the general manager. If first of all, if he's going to be like Bill Parcells and he's going to say, "Listen, if I can't go shopping for the groceries, then I'm not doing any of the cooking." So he's probably going to quit anyway.
They're going to have a job for him in some way, consultant, advisor, whatever you want to call it. He's going to be with the organization.
Yeah.
They're not going to strip him of the coaching duties and keep him GM. No, you want it the other way around.
Yeah.
They need a personnel guy. They had Scott Pioli years ago. They let one guy go to the Texans, their general manager. Yeah. Why is his name second year in Houston?
I can't think of who it is. Anyways, we spent way too much time on them.
Nick Caserio.
They're gonna they're gonna suck, and that's the end of it. All right, period. And I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm just telling you, I have no expectations for them this year. So if they show me something, great. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's where listen. I expect them to be the third worst team in football this year.
We agree. Bills first place.
Okay. Now we move on to the AFC North. I have Cincinnati, Baltimore. Excuse me. I have Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland.
Cincinnati, of course, to win it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in Kenny Pickett so far, but the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, I think they're going to give Cincinnati a run for their money for the division. They still don't have a good line, the Bengals. They're still going to win the division, I think, because of the quarterback and the receiving core, good running game.
Okay.
In spite of the offensive line.
So my prediction is Pickett's going to have a monster year. Okay. I think Lamar is going to play maybe 11 games this year, 12. He's going to get hurt. That's what I think. So I think he's going to miss some time. Now, if he doesn't, then maybe I have Baltimore second. But either way, that's Cincinnati's division to lose, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. Just keep in mind, last year the Ravens did well when Lamar was out.
And again, so this is one of those divisions where they beat the shit out of each other. That's why
they always have. Black and blue division.
Right. This is a division where first place, I don't think really. I know the Browns are, at the bottom of there, right? But I don't think those three teams, the Ravens, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, are really that far away from each other.
They're not. The only movement that we discussed, if Deshaun Watson in Cleveland has a monster year like 3 years ago.
Yeah, if he comes back and he's phenomenal.
Give him, maybe 8, 9, 10 wins.
Yeah.
I don't see it. But
I do. I think he's going to have a really good year this year.
But how good is the rest of the team, though?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, their defense is really good, and they got Nick Chubb. They got Amari Cooper on the outside. They got Njoku as a tight end. It's not like they suck. They're a pretty good team, man. They're a pretty good team. That's going to be a very tough division.
When I stack them up against Cincinnati, not so much.
Well, yeah.
That's why we watch. That's why we love it. Right?
Right? Exactly. So I think Cincinnati is going to be in for a surprise this year with something. And listen, they got some injury things going on too. By the way, Joe Burrow's not 100%. I mean, he's going to play. That's fine. But that's something you got to keep an eye on. Jamar Chase could go down, and or T. Higgins, right? Joe Mixon. It's not like, and I know they've addressed the offensive line, but it's not like they were stellar. That's part of the reason why they lost last year.
They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago in spite of that offensive line.
So now we get to the dreaded AFC South, except for really, I consider one team.
Both conferences, but go ahead.
This is Jacksonville's division to lose, okay? I think for like the next 5 years probably. Unless
the Colts get the quarterback.
Well, unless Richardson turns out to be something,
Yeah.
Again, rookie quarterback. Same thing with Stroud in Houston.
Houston might be terrible till the day I'm dead.
But it's Cincinnati, and then it's Tennessee, and then it's probably Indianapolis, and then Houston.
Houston, without question.
Yeah.
I might sign them in for the next decade for dead last.
Jacksonville is going to have the comeback player of the year. They have him on their team right now with Calvin Ridley. This dude, I'm telling you right
Suspended
now,
for gambling.
he's going to finish a top 5 wide receiver, I think.
I agree with you. Alabama product.
Yeah, he's a beast, and that's in both fantasy and regular football. This dude's he does a lot of things well. He just really does, and having that year off, he's got those fresh legs, those fresh hands. I just think
he's gonna be
hungry. He's hungry. Exactly.
There you go.
He's hungry. So, all right, we're going to move on to the AFC West. It's the Chiefs, obviously. But these, I think the Chargers finished second. And then the Raiders and Broncos, I don't know. Listen, I've been having this conversation with a few people when it comes to Sean Payton. because I don't know Sean Payton. Is a good coach.
Overrated.
Right. So I want to see, if if he can turn Russell Wilson around from what he did last year, and he can get them at least in the hunt for a playoff position, well then he'll impress me. But just much like I want to see what Bill Belichick can do without Tom Brady, I want to see what this guy's going to do without Drew Brees. I mean, he struggled as it was with Drew Brees. I mean, they only won one Super Bowl. That's my thing with Sean Payton, by the way. Everybody treats him like he's won fucking 8 Super Bowls or that he's gone to like 19, NFC championship games. And it's like, that's not the case, man.
2009, he was head coach of the Saints and won Super Bowl. They did not make it back since. With Drew Brees, one of the all-time greats at quarterback, right? We agree on that?
Yeah.
But you rank him wherever you want. He's an all-time great.
Okay.
Did they get a whiff of the Super Bowl since 2009? No.
Not really.
He was suspended for a while for that whole whatever you want to call it, bounty gate, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't pin that solely on him, but that's whatever. That's
still, you're the head coach, man. It falls on your shoulders.
Since then, what have they won in New Orleans? Nothing.
Right.
Absolutely zero.
Yeah.
So, and this happened with Cowher and John Gruden years ago. The sexy name that's out there for the retread that's won, and each year you hear his name. And I'm sitting there wondering, WTF? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Denver they think they got their man. Do I think it's going to pan out between him and Russell? No.
No.
Last season, I thought the AFC West was going to be the toughest division. Chiefs own it.
Yeah.
They bleeping own it.
But listen, he may be, he probably thinks and knows that, listen, okay, Russell's not my guy for the next 5 years. He's probably planning on drafting, not in this year's draft. He's probably looking at somebody maybe in a year or two, maybe. Or he's looking to, possible free agents that are going to be out there. My guess is Sean Payton seems to me like the kind of coach that would bring in a veteran quarterback. For example, if Kirk Cousins became available next year, if he was a free agent, he's the kind of quarterback that Sean Payton. A lot of teams would go after Kirk Cousins, by the way. It's not like he sucks. Dude, I know you keep saying this. I don't know why. Look at his numbers. It's not like he sucks.
Look,
a lot of those games.
I see the numbers.
I want you to tell me which game in Minnesota in the playoffs that he was in that he fucking cost them the game. It's never really been his fault.
I'm not gonna tell you he cost
he's not that guy.
Game.
He's not. He don't go out there and throw 3-4 picks. He don't give games away.
Is he the difference maker? Is he gonna win you a championship?
Well, I don't think he's going to cost you one.
In D.C., he had no chance of winning championships.
Well, no, because he had shit around him.
It's D.C.
But he's got Justin Jefferson now. He's got Madison there. He's got the Addison, the kid they just drafted. He's got a phenomenal offensive line. And, their defense, again, is what's suspect. That's what hurt them last year. They couldn't fucking stop anybody from throwing the ball.
With Justin Jefferson, he should have his numbers and they'll skyrocket.
Yes.
But are they gonna make a Super Bowl?
Well,
that's my question.
I think they can. I mean, I think they're one of the best teams. We're going to go over to the NFC right now in a second.
Course.
So, but before we do that, and before we go on, touching on what I brought up earlier. Okay, tell me if you would take Mac Jones over these quarterbacks. Josh Allen.
Of course not.
Tua.
No.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. No.
For 1 year. We're just saying 1 year.
No.
And I don't care if it's for 2 years. You would take you would take Mac Jones over Aaron Rodgers for 2 years. You got to take your fucking hatred for the man out of it.
No.
You're not taking.
So, no, we're going for 1 year. That's the criteria.
Whichever.
Okay.
You're not. How about Lamar?
No.
All right. How about Joe Burrow?
No. Come on.
How about Deshaun Watson? No, you're not. Pickett.
To be determined.
The fuck it is. I saw enough from him last year in the preseason. No, it's not to be determined. Mac Jones is not better than Pickett. You want to take Pickett? Okay, fine. Right there. All right. I'm going to write it down.
He finished this.
So we can go. Okay.
And New York is supposed to be jumpy? Oh, come on.
Please. I want to keep track of this shit so we know. I know we have it on tape, but it don't matter. Okay. Again, we're going to take out Stroud. We're going to take out Richardson because they're rookies. Okay.
And Pickett just finished.
How about Trevor Lawrence? You got to fucking sit and think about it.
No.
Jesus, man.
This isn't rapid fire, for
Good
Christ's
Lord.
sake.
I don't rapid fire, but a yes is a yes.
I'll take Lawrence.
Let me ask you something. Somebody says, hey, son, do you like sex? Do you sit there and think about it for a minute? No, you say yes. immediately.
This is not an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing. Okay.
This is the
So
PG rated
Trevor
show.
Lawrence? No, right?
No.
Okay. How about Ryan Tannehill? I would not take Mac Jones over Ryan Tannehill if I gotta have him first
Because
season.
of how long he's been in the league, I'll take Tannehill by a hair.
Okay.
He's nothing to write home about. I
Okay.
mean, let's be real.
Justin Herbert.
Of course, Herbert.
Jimmy G.
When healthy, keywords, Jimmy G. For that year, how many games is he playing?
So
10, 12, 14,
I
1?
I think they're kind of like the same person almost. But I think that Jimmy G might be a little bit more accurate than Mac. My brother disagreed with me. He thinks that that Mac would be probably just slightly better than Jimmy G. But again, he's got a little slight hatred for Jimmy G. He fucking hates the guy. So that probably plays part of it. But so I think so. Anyways, I told you there were a couple of guys. Jimmy G was one of them. So we're gonna put Mac above Jimmy G. Okay.
Okay.
And the last one is Russell Wilson. And I want the Russell Wilson from 2 years ago. Let's just say, forget last year because he was another one that was in a dumpster fire. Let's just say Russ goes back. Let's say he goes back to being 75% of what the fuck he was a couple of years ago.
2 years ago in Seattle, he wasn't good.
Well, he was all right.
I mean, but Mac
didn't
Jones
suck.
was.
Again, okay, would you choose Russell Wilson over Mac Jones?
For one season, okay, Russell Wilson is playoff
they're both
bound. He's seasoned.
Yeah.
For that reason,
Okay, we're out in the playground. They're both fucking standing in front of you. It's your pick.
Russell Wilson.
You're picking Russell. Okay. I just listed every fucking team in the AFC, Sonny, and we've only picked one quarterback that we would take over Mac Jones.
This is one of the
Jimmy G.
Okay.
Now we're getting to the NFC. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
We're halfway done.
Yes.
Why do I feel like this is a test?
It's not a test.
I'm not sweating yet.
I just want to prove a point.
No.
That's it. I don't want to come on here and first of all, you know me, man. I fucking call it like it is, and I'm not going to come on here and be a fraud and say, oh well, this is what I think and rah rah. And I'm not a homer, to the extent where
we know this.
I love my sports teams, but I'm going to call them out when they're not good.
I've done the same thing.
Not good is not good. It's listen. I've been kicked out of more fucking groups on Facebook and everything else because I don't post. And I'm not on there dropping F-bombs and stuff. I'm truly not. But if I don't go on there and say something positive, then, people get their panties all up in a bunch and, it's people like you that make the world a terrible place. And I'm like, oh, why? Because I just said they're the worst defensive team in baseball? They are, in case you haven't been paying attention. So.
And Jerry's also banned from calling Boston Sports Talk Radio. Moving right along.
No, not yet. Not yet, I'm not. All right,
He's
hold
close.
on. The internet has gone down. Okay, but I don't need it anyways. Okay, so I've got Philadelphia winning the NFC East, followed by Dallas, followed by the Giants, followed by Washington. You agree with that or no?
Washington for sure and dead last.
Yep.
Philly's going to win it.
Yep.
I have the Giants giving the Eagles a run for their money.
Okay, so.
Not because of Daniel Jones. In spite of Daniel Jones.
I think Daniel Jones is going to be better than what you anticipate.
Technically speaking, today's NFL, is he a franchise quarterback? Yeah.
We're going to find out this year. He's got some weapons this year, with Darren Waller there, and, he's got Saquon coming back. The Cowboys are loaded. I think so. Brandon Cooks, to me, is going to have a monster year. I think he's going to have a monster year in Dallas. He's going to get a lot of targets. Tony Pollard is going to be a monster. Can Dak stay healthy? Now I don't want Dak to stay healthy. I want to see fucking Trey Lance come in. I want to see if he's really a first-round quarterback or not.
For the purpose of, we'll see. It's
first-round pick.
It's his third season.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Is he worth all of those? Was he worth everything
No.
that they gave up? That's what I want to know.
No, he can have.
Well, have we really been able to see?
No, of course not.
Right.
You haven't.
Right. So, I want to see the kid through, I don't know, 12 games, 13 games, maybe. I don't know, whatever.
It's a bad luck there.
Either way.
Mr. Irrelevant on their team, Purdy, ends up becoming a star, and the rest is history.
I think Philly's loaded. They got a pretty good defense, and, they got a great offense, good coaching. It's going to be, you playing in front of that crowd in Philly, those fucking people are nuts, man. They just really are.
I underestimated, I was incorrect about Nick Sirianni, the coach. Going into his first season, I'm like, Was this the right hire?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Completely incorrect.
Listen, a
Hey.
lot of people felt that way about Dan Campbell too, and look at the hype that he's brought up. All those season tickets they've sold now, and everybody's.
They have great fans.
Yeah.
Let's.
Listen, I got a lot of friends that are in Detroit. Steve, hello. However, I don't feel
They're the
sorry.
Lions, for God's sake.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers are going to be on the downside. And again, I'm jumping the gun. We're going to get to every division. This is the time for them to take it. Grab the division by its friggin' balls. Justin Fields, Chicago, kid QB. Minnesota is going to be good competition for you. This is the time to make it known. It's our bleeping time.
Okay, so do you have the Lions winning the Central? The North, I mean.
No, I have the Vikings. The offense you mentioned. Again, I'm not a Cousins fan. I have the Vikings winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
I have
do
Detroit
too.
making the playoffs.
I have
in
it.
second place.
I have Detroit in second place as well, behind Green Bay and then Chicago.
Behind Green Bay.
Yeah.
Really?
I have Green Bay third.
Wait, okay. Who do you have winning the division?
Okay, I have Minnesota winning the division.
Okay.
Okay, I have the Lions coming in second.
Gotcha.
Then I have Green Bay coming in third, and I have the Bears coming in fourth.
I have the Packers coming in dead last.
Yeah, you think the Bears are going to finish better than the Packers? See, I think Jordan Love's going to have a pretty good season.
He may, but again, I'm not.
But again, this is that division where
Another black and blue division.
absolutely where that's going to be probably the toughest division to win. Think about it.
That and the NFC South.
If those four teams, tell me something. Those four teams, is there any division? Somebody tell me. Is there any division where all four teams are almost as equally as matched as those four?
You're 100% correct. It could be like 8 to 10 wins,
Exactly.
7 to 9, something in
Yeah.
that.
9 and 8. 10 and 7 could win that division.
That's truly like a 3.5 yards cloud of dust,
Yep.
like a 1930 NFL game.
Right.
Black and
Yeah.
freaking blue.
It's going to be a great division to watch, So I said this to my brother. I'm not a big Jared Goff believer, and I'll tell you why, because he sucks in
Me
cold
neither.
weather outside. He blows outside.
He's
he
a
sucks.
Cali kid. It is what it is.
He's great in the fucking dome, though. Keep him inside in the dome, or keep him playing in Southern California.
Yeah,
He's good.
For his home games, he's fine.
Yeah.
A little slight problem. You
They
have to
gotta-
play in Chicago.
But
and
they,
Green Bay.
like everybody else, listen, everything always comes down to whether or not these teams can stay healthy. And, the Broncos just lost Jerry Jeudy yesterday. He went down with a
Yes.
hamstring yesterday. I know he's definitely going to miss week 1 and probably week 2. So,
But they'll have him for the majority of the season.
Yeah,
They'll be fine with
but
him.
with these wide receivers, when it's those hamstrings or when it's those ankles, it seems to linger on through the year. So you mark my words, he's going to come back, and somewhere in the middle of the year, it's going to rear its ugly head again. So keep that in mind, you fantasy people, when we talk about fantasy
your
in the future.
department.
But yeah, so we'll touch upon that later on. Okay, now we go to what I think is the worst division in football, the NFC South. You've got the Carolina Panthers, you've got the Atlanta Falcons, you got the New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This was the division I had the toughest time thinking, who the hell's going to win it?
Yeah.
The quarterback position, of course, you always look to.
Yeah, you know who the veteran?
Falcons.
So the veteran in this division is Derek Carr with the Saints, and I think he and the talent that they have there and the coaching that they have is going to be enough to win that division, just ahead of Atlanta. And then I have Carolina finishing third and Tampa finishing fourth. Baker Mayfield's going to be out there for like 4 weeks. That'll be enough for him. They'll bring in Kyle Trask, I think, is his backup. Is it
Kid from
Trask?
Florida, yeah, it's Trask.
So
He beat him out in camp.
they'll bring him in. The Falcons are going to be better than people think. They got Bijan Robinson, who's going to be an absolute friggin' beast. So on the ground and in the receiving game. So he's going to be splitting time with Algier, but. And I know that, Smith likes to friggin' run the ball, and,
Oh, yeah.
which drove fantasy managers crazy last year, by the way, that had Kyle Pitts and Drake London because they never threw the ball. They ran it 90% of the time. Arthur Smith, that's all he wants to do is just run it down your throat. He's that old school, pound it and ground it.
You got to use that tight end, Pitts.
Right,
Got-
yeah,
I
you
mean,
got
come
it, right, yeah.
Well,
So,
another University of Florida kid.
but I mean, now you got this is a running back that they can, slide out into the slot and throw him the ball as a receiver. So they're going to be better, I think, than people think.
I have them coming win the
Yeah.
division.
And the Saints have a wide receiver that I think has a chance to be the best wide receiver in all of football this year, depending on how Derek Carr plays this year, and that's Chris Olave. This fucking kid, man. Wow.
Incredible talent.
I love me some
Incredible
Chris
talent.
Olave. Love me some Chris Olave this year.
Man crush.
He is my ride or die this year. He's my ride or die this year, Chris Olave. I think he's going to have a really monster year. I said that's the worst division in football, and then I just came across the NFC West.
No, you're right. The NFC South is the worst division.
Yeah, you're right. It probably is. So we have the Cardinals, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. All right. So listen. Nothing that the 49ers just did with that trade affects them one way or another this season.
Yeah, Purdy
They
started.
got a phenomenal defense. Purdy's a good quarterback. They're going to win that division. They're going to give the Eagles.
Landslide.
I think it's going to be them and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. That's my prediction. Early prediction. Them and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. In the AFC, which I didn't touch upon when we ended, my prediction is going to be Kansas City and Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game. So, obviously, if Patrick Mahomes goes out there and, busts his ass, or Joe Burrow goes out there and he's out for the year, or something drastic happens, anyway, well, then you make a little bit of adjustments. And surprise teams, any surprise teams for you think that are going to maybe overtake some of these, ones that we think and a lot of people probably think are the
What about
most
the Rams?
obvious? Where do you think they're going to finish?
They're going to finish, I think, in the division right behind the Niners. But if they're a playoff team,
See, I don't think so. I think
How
Seattle.
long-
I think Seattle finished the second ahead of them, and the Rams.
Really?
Yeah. I think Seattle's better than the Rams.
Rams still have their quarterback, their coach, the same system.
Okay, same with Seattle.
Well,
Were you on
Who's the quarterback for Seattle?
Geno Smith? Did you not watch him last year? He was good, man.
He's been on how many teams now?
I don't know.
4.
Whatever.
Let's see where you
Okay.
get.
I can
in a
only go by
17
what
game
I've
season.
seen so far.
But let's as a 17-game season. Let's see.
Okay,
what
he
can
played.
produce.
He played all last year.
He played every game last
Yes.
season.
I mean-
Compare. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yeah.
If you're
I'm not saying he's better than Matthew Stafford. I mean, let's not get fucking crazy.
But I'm saying,
But Matthew Stafford is a little old and broken down right now. So I want to see, what he. But
I can't see
but
Seattle
I think
making any noise. as
Seattle
far as
has.
the
I think.
playoffs.
I think
mean,
Seattle's defense is better than the Rams. I think too.
okay.
And they got.
They don't have Aaron Donald.
And no, but they get a better running game too than the Rams have. Cam Akers, and that's it. So Seattle's gonna throw out Kenneth Walker the third out there. The kid Charbonnet they just drafted, who's gonna be a phenomenal running back in this league. You mark my word, Charbonnet.
Great talent.
For all you fantasy drafters, get him late in your draft. Charbonnet from the Seattle Seahawks.
That's free of charge.
He's
Gary.
gonna have a really good year. Again. Oh, I'm sorry. So, like any surprise teams you think that could possibly sneak out there and say, okay,
Besides
well,
the Rams.
because I have a couple.
Would you call the Giants a surprise team?
Yeah. Yes. I don't think they have a fucking prayer of overtaking Philadelphia, but so it would surprise me.
I mean, Hurts
if
did
they
a great
did.
job last season. He's still a young QB.
He is.
As Jones is too.
Yeah.
I liked A-Ball as a coach. A ball bounces one way or another, a game or two.
Yeah.
They're going to give Philly. Again, we agree Philly can win the division. I think the Giants can give them a run for their money.
Of course you do. If they were the fucking Montana Giants, would you still feel the same way?
Well, okay.
Yes or no?
Well,
Hey, again,
we
look
all-
at this.
we-
Look
we,
at
we
this.
hear the accent.
See?
I'm a Dolphins fan. We all know that. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm not a
I
Giants fan.
understand, but you're still from that area, so you still got a little bit of heartstrings attached to them a little bit. You're not going to be disappointed if the Giants win the Super Bowl.
When they beat the Pats, I
Okay,
wasn't.
either way, you're not going to be fucking disappointed. Don't bullshit me. You can't bullshit a bullshitter, brother. So I'm going to give you a couple of teams that I think that could maybe surprise. you're going to be shocked at a couple of these. So this is what you call a fucking hot take, I guess. I guess
Okay.
that's what they would call
I
it.
was going to say I should sit down, but I'm already seated.
I'm going to write this down so we have it, that I wrote it down. Or, I mean, listen.
It's up here.
If I'm wrong and this team goes like fucking 2-15, everybody's going to be blowing up my social media and my phone telling me what a jerk off I am anyways, right? This guy don't know shit. Get the fuck off my TV or phone or whatever it is you're watching it at. Anyways, the Cleveland Browns. Yes, that's right. I said the Cleveland fucking Browns.
To do what?
Go
9-8?
No. I think
I mean, Super Bowl.
I told you. I'm not saying they can go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I said they are a team that I think that could surprise in their division. Are you telling me that Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, they can't split against each other? And
Of course they can.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, okay. Stop and let me finish, motherfucker. Stop and let me finish. Go and look at their schedule compared to the other team's schedule.
We're looking at the schedule. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Are you saying that you think they can make?
I'm saying
a
they have an
wild
easier path
Okay.
to get to 10 wins than the other three teams do, provided they split all their games in their division. So that's 3-3, right?
When you say surprise, you mean just make the playoffs?
No, man. Like, I mean, is there a team that can come out of like nowhere or surprise and say, like, take their division? And I guess, yeah, they would make the playoffs if they win their division. But I don't want a team that's going to just sneak into the playoffs. No, I want you to pick a team that you think can come out of nowhere and surprise people. And my team that I think that can come out of nowhere and surprise people are the Cleveland Browns. And it all depends on that guy behind the center. If we get the Deshaun Watson that we have all been expecting to see, they have a chance to do great things there.
Well, provided he has a masseuse that's a heterosexual male.
Well, whichever. I don't really care about any of that anymore. I feel the same way about that as I did with Michael Vick. And I'm a dog lover and I'm a dog owner, okay? The man's paid his debt to society.
Agreed.
Okay? He's done everything he was supposed to do or required to do. He's
I
allowed
agree.
to move on now with his life.
I agree
You don't
with
have to like it, okay? I don't like what he did.
He pays us. Yeah, I
Right.
agree with you.
But it's, I'm not talking about anything in his personal life. I'm talking about what's going on in just the football field, on the football field, and strictly the football field.
If they win
So-
10 games,
Now-
Kevin Stefanski's coach of the year. If they win 10 games,
Yeah. Now, do I think they're going to? No, I don't. But that's not what this is. I'm putting
Exactly.
my long shot out there, if you will. So that's one of them. Would it surprise you if the Miami Dolphins overtook the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East? That wouldn't surprise me.
No, of course, it's all Tua's health, and we said about any team or any player.
Yeah.
It's more so for what we saw last year.
Yeah.
And this is a separate topic. What the Dolphins and the league did in handling his concussions was a disgrace.
Yep.
They absolutely fucked him over in any possible way they could.
Yep.
As a human being, not just as a Dolphins fan, of course, I hope he's all right. It's all about his health.
Yep.
Could they win 11 games and Buffalo win 10? Of course. Absolutely.
Do the Chargers have a chance of overtaking Kansas City in the AFC West?
Slightly.
Yeah, I think so.
They're a
too.
playoff team. They will in a year or two. Put it this way, the Chiefs are not always going to have Kelsey on the team.
Well,
Patrick Mahomes is going to learn.
not just that, but sooner or later, I think Kansas City's defense is going to catch up to them.
Of
And
course.
So, and I know they addressed it a little bit this year, so, I think they made some improvements to try and help them there. But
You
as
can't
long as you
score-
have that fucking guy at quarterback, you have a chance to win a Super
You
Bowl.
can't score 40 points every week. And like I tell everybody, when Kelsey retires,
I don't
gets
care.
cut, they're not going to be the same team.
I don't care. You guys all said the same shit when Tyreek Hill went to Miami.
I didn't.
Oh, he's never going. That's it. He lost the best wide receiver in football. And the fucking guy's still winning Super Bowls. I don't care. I don't care. Tom Brady lost guys too. Winners win, Sonny. It doesn't matter. They're going to bring in. Andy Reid's going to bring in the next
We're
guy.
going to. Well, he'll retire. I mean, he's.
Well, either way, whoever else they have there, it doesn't matter. Well, I don't know how long Kelsey's contract is for.
He'll be there another 2 or 3 years.
Okay, no, he's going to finish his career there. Are you nuts?
But how long has he been there? Players don't play 15 to 20 years anymore. They don't.
Some of them do. Some of them still do.
Very few.
Some of them still do. I still think he falls into that class. As far as the NFC goes, the Lions are everybody's darling this year. Everybody's pulling
The
for
hot
'em.
chicken school.
Sure. To me, I think it would be the Atlanta Falcons. I think They're a team that if
Mariota.
Ritter can play well, no, Mariota's long gone, man. He's backing up.
Not Mariota.
It's Ritter.
Ritter.
Kyle Ritter. Yeah. If Ritter can play well, and their their defense can be what it was last year, which was okay. They're like the middle of the pack. I mean, they're not stellar. They need some help on the corners and in the safeties. They need some help in the secondary. That's really where they need the help, I think. But I think they're a team that Now again, they play in that weak ass division, so I'm not really
It's unwatchable. That's like a Sunday night game where you're bored out of your
listen, I
mind.
know all my friends in Tampa are gonna break my balls, but I don't know any of them that are overly excited about having Baker Mayfield out there on opening day. Sorry, Baker, you make some pretty funny commercials, dude, but
The
and listen,
progressive ones.
I was wrong. Okay. Like 3 years ago, I said to my brother that I'm in the fantasy league with, I think Baker Mayfield is the real deal. I think he can fucking.
You made the playoffs that one season.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I think he can. I think he can go on if you put the right pieces around him. And I was wrong. I mean, to me, he's a serviceable backup.
He's going to be a journeyman quarterback.
Yeah,
if he wants to, he could retire and
Right, but you're right. I mean, he doesn't suck, but he's not great. I mean,
backup quarterback.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's, Okay, so you ready? Dak Prescott. Would you take Mac Jones over him? Are you thinking?
No. No, for one season, no.
Okay, I don't care if it's for how about for 10 years?
The answer is no.
Jesus,
for one season.
stop.
Let's down the firing squad.
What's the matter with you? Have you ever watched Dak Prescott play quarterback? Do you think he's horrible?
You're not going to win a championship with him.
Why not?
I get the point of what you're doing here.
Well, I fucking hope so. But what do you mean you can't? You don't think you can win a championship with Dak Prescott?
It's honestly, it could be just a bias of how the Cowboys have done things for nearly.
Okay,
30 years,
we're gonna do a quick exercise after this. We're gonna get back to this.
Please.
Hold on a minute.
Let's go.
Danny boy, your boy in New York, Daniel Jones. Would you take Mac Jones over him?
By a hair, I'll take Jones. By a hair.
Wow.
He's not. By a hair.
Okay, so you would take.
I never knew you were this soured on Mac Jones. Yeah. I never knew this.
It's not that I'm sour on him. I'm proving a point.
Okay. And
how about Jalen Hurts? How about for 100 fucking years? Would you take Jalen Hurts or Mac Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Sam Howell. Is that the guy's name that's in Washington? Yeah, Sam Howell.
I'll take.
So you don't even know him. Okay. Well, I can tell you from what I've seen in the preseason, I'm going to take Howell. How you like those fucking apples? Out of spite. Out of spite, just to make you angry.
The legitimacy of this is.
I will take Mac over Sam Howell.
Oh.
Okay, I will take. Again, me and my brother had only two quarterbacks worse than Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, and the guy that we just mentioned, Sam Howell,
right.
and I'm pretty sure that's his name, because you're not taking him over Jared Goff for a season.
No.
You're not taking him over Jordan Love for a season. You're not taking him for Kirk Cousins over a season.
Hold on. Jordan Love hasn't even played.
I've seen enough. What do you mean?
An NFL season. You haven't seen Jordan Love?
Okay.
So then, okay. I was a little concerned about you proving your two.
Okay, so you want to say three? I'll bet you right now, here, right in front of everybody, I will bet you whatever amount of money you want to bet. I'll bet you coffee or whatever you want that Jordan Love's numbers at the end of the season are far better than Mac Jones's. No, they're not that they could be. He's a better quarterback. He was better than him when they were in fucking college, and he's better than him. And I don't give a shit, Sonny. Listen to me. Listen to me. When they were both in college, Jordan Love was a better quarterback. To me, he's a better quarterback. College. Okay, yeah. Well, it's going to translate the same way. I want you to tell me what the fuck you've seen in Mac Jones that makes you think he's better than six guys that are in the NFL in the NFL
First
right
of all,
now.
This is the craziest thing. A Dolphins fan is back.
This is amazing to me.
Mac Jones made the playoffs in his first year.
I can get 5 of my friends that live in New England right now on the phone, and they're going to tell you out of your mind. You had to think about Dak Prescott being better than Mac Jones. You probably shouldn't be sitting in that chair. Holy fuck, bro.
Love hasn't even played yet. He hasn't even played yet.
Okay, I'll give you Jordan Love, but I'm telling you that he's better than Mac Jones.
We're going to find out this season?
We will. Well, you didn't watch him play against the Patriots in the preseason. I did.
I don't watch.
Okay, well, he outplayed Mac Jones, just so you know.
One series.
What? I don't give a shit. He outplayed him. I don't care if it's one. I can only go by what's in front of me, Sonny.
I want to gauge a football game by 60 minutes.
Okay.
Not one series.
Okay, great. So how many weeks do we want to go before you're going to, see to me that...
This is preseason.
Okay, but...
Jordan Love now has the job. Rodgers is gone. Now you're going to see what it's about.
Okay. So do you think Jordan Love's not a good quarterback?
I didn't. How do I know?
Did you not watch him in college?
How many games did you watch Jordan Love play in college? Be real. Probably 0.
Well, 3. But I've watched all his highlights that I needed to watch. To be able to, I can only go by what I pull up here on YouTube or the internet or whatever it is I'm going to get it, or what he's doing in practice. The games that I've seen him play in this preseason. Okay, I've seen all of these quarterbacks play football, Sonny. Every fucking single one of them I've seen play football, preseason or not. Okay, he's still playing a professional football game.
They've also stripped him of weapons.
In my opinion, what are you talking about?
Well, Aaron Rodgers, the Jets assistant GM.
Stop. See, you're right. You didn't do your fucking homework. He's got Christian Watson. Christian Watson is going to be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFC this year. Number 1. Okay, he's going to throw to him all day long. They just drafted the kid. Now I can't even think of his name.
Let's see if he pans out.
Yeah, but he's looked really good here in the preseason. He's got some weapons there. And he's got Aaron Jones still in the backfield, along with A.J. Dillon. So he's got a great running game. He's got a good offensive line.
How many games do you think the Packers will win this year?
I think the Packers are going to win probably...
Double digits? No way.
Probably 9 games. 8-9 games. I put the Packers around 8-9 games.
I'm around a 7, so I don't think you're crazy with that. But I don't... Yeah. Again... I don't think we're comparing apples to apples. He hasn't played in the NFL yet, so I don't think...
Now, hear me out on this. I'm not saying that Jordan Love is way the fuck here and Mac Jones is way down here.
You exploded like you kind of did.
Well, yeah, because he's ahead of Mac Jones, but it's not like I think Jordan Love's going to go up there and win the fucking MVP, okay? My point is that's how bad Mac Jones is. Okay? And you want me to give you Jordan Love? I'll give him to you. I'll give you... Okay, so... Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Sam Howell. Guy you never even fucking heard of until I just mentioned him to you 2 minutes ago.
I didn't pay attention to the freaking Commanders.
There's 32 teams in the NFL, Sonny.
Yes, sir.
So that means that there's 25 other ones that are better than Mac Jones.
The Texans quarterback.
We're not including rookies. We left the 2 rookies out.
Okay.
So we'll leave the 2 rookies out. So there's everybody else. So there's only 3 quarterbacks that you wouldn't take over Mac Jones. So... my point of this is this. How do you expect them to win 7 or 8 games when you have the 3rd worst quarterback in the NFL? Because the 2 worst teams are going to win 1 game, 2 games, maybe 3. Okay? You're telling me that the 3rd or 4th worst team in the NFL is going to win 9 or 10 games? I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I fucking don't.
He's going to have to go back to what he was 2 years ago, and Belichick's going to have to somehow you asked me a specific question.
Mm-hmm.
The chaos they had last year, they won't have. Bill O'Brien's back in there.
Mm-hmm.
If he can muster up some of the old magic, of course, it's no Brady. I get it. Belichick, O'Brien, doing what they have to do. Again, last season, like I said, I used the word abortion. That was... what they did last season, Belichick should be ashamed. I mean, that was ridiculous. Patricia and whatever he did.
He's helping out a friend. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's what he was doing. He was helping out his friends.
But now he's running a football team again. Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien is fit to do this.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
We'll
you got to give him a shot.
Listen, yes, he's fit to do it. Far more than the other wingnut that was there. I mean, Matt Patricia, stop it. Just stop.
Am I telling you Matt Jones is a great quarterback? No.
Yeah.
Do I think he's atrocious like you do? No. And it's crazy. A Dolphin fan is like a Pats fan.
Listen, again,
like the Twilight Zone.
The guy's in the NFL, okay? So he's a good quarterback, right? He comes from a good system in Alabama, which, by the way, they just never produce really good quarterbacks out of Alabama.
Unless your name Namath. I get it.
He wasn't even...
Or Stabler. And Namath was
Joe
not that great.
Namath is the
Overrated.
most overrated fucking player in sports history. Period.
Yes,
He
sir.
just fucking is.
Yes, sir.
Stop it with the Joe Namath.
Look,
I don't want to hear it no
It's
more.
because of the
with him.
guarantee. It's because of the chicks,
I
the
know.
persona, the whole bit.
Yeah.
ESPN had him rated as the most overrated. And Jet fans are going to
Yeah.
crucify us.
I don't care.
I can care less.
They can kiss my ass. He is overrated. The most overrated player
Look
in
at
the
his stats.
history of sports on planet Earth.
I
I
had
don't
Jet
care
fan
who
tell
it
me
is.
he was a top 5 quarterback.
No.
I said he's not top 10. He's not top 15. That's effing garbage.
Yeah, that's just crazy. So, who are your top 5 quarterbacks?
For this season.
Yes.
Well, Mahomes.
Is he number? I want you to go in order. Is he? You think he's the best quarterback in football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I agree with you there.
Number 2. Now, are we talking about what they've already done, or
I'm talking about this year.
This year, okay.
Who's the best?
Mahomes. I'm going with Herbert.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Herbert.
Yep. You think he's the second best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allen.
Yep.
I'm going with the kid in Baltimore still.
Uh,
Former MVP. I know
Jackson?
people. Yeah. I know people are going to say, oh, what has he done since?
If he stays healthy, he's going to have a monster year.
Yeah.
The dude's a beast if he stays healthy. Now, with the new offensive coordinator in there, and bringing in Zay Flowers,
Change.
so it gives Mark Andrews, a little bit of a break. So they're not not everybody's just beating down on him because they have nobody to throw the ball to. But I think Flowers is going to make a difference. They got OBJ. We'll see if he's got anything left in the tank.
A little
We'll see.
spark. I mean, he's not old. It seems.
No.
It seems like he's been around
No,
forever.
but listen, I think that this is going to be the year like some comeback for some older players that I think are going to surprise people. I don't think that is he going to go out there and get 1,000 yards receiving? No, he's not. He's not going to have 1,000 yards receiving. Stop it. If you think he is, that's silly. First of all, that's not how their offense is constructed. First of all, but I don't think he's going to suck. I think maybe he brings you 50 grabs at 500-600 yards maybe if he stays healthy. I think that's
that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think that. Listen, if I was a fan of theirs, that's probably the expectations I would have of him. So. Okay.
We're on to 5.
So you got Mahomes, Herbert, Allen, and Jackson, and who's your 5th?
The man in green wearing 8. Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Wow. Well, mine goes Mahomes. I have Joe Burrow 2nd. I have Josh Allen 3rd. I have Justin Herbert 4th. And I have Lamar Jackson 5th.
I had Herbert. I had Burrow at 6.
Yeah.
I was contemplating Rodgers or Burrow.
Yeah.
With the vet factor, I went with Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, they're all freaking great. But so, being a Patriots fan and having all that greatness for all those years, watching this is painful. It is. It's freaking painful.
You and half
but
of New
because
England.
right but
Of course.
like I'm at work and I'm like just having I don't even remember how the conversation started, and but we were talking about something that was related to football, and I get in my usual passionate self, and the director Tony he says, "Man, I love your passion when you're talking about sports." I'm like, "That's why I do a podcast." I'm like, "That's why I do it because I am passionate about it," and I'm like, because to me, I'm always fascinated by how, people think and their observations of things, whether it's the same way as mine or when it's different. And when it's different, like when I sit there and I watch you think about whether Dak Prescott.
Oh,
is
for
better than
10
Mac
freaking
Jones.
seconds. I'm not a
Bro.
moving right along.
Fucking
Are you crazy?
Oh, man. I wish the midget was here. I really do. I wish the midget. Mikey, we will definitely make sure that you are here in the very, very near future. My friend Bill was going to join us tonight, but he had some things that came up last minute with some family, and which is all good stuff, by the way, nothing bad. So he's hanging out with his brother and daughter. So I know he's going to be watching this afterwards, so I'm sorry you weren't here for this, but he's going to join us for
All right.
our fantasy show. And, of course, Tyler, I know everybody's going to be asking me about him. He's, doing that work thing.
He's a newlywed, too.
Yep, he is.
We'll
So
get
we're
settled in.
And, being across the state and us all in different areas, it's, it's hard for us to, kind of coordinate this sometimes because we all do have regular jobs. But so this is the plan moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to do the shows moving forward on Mondays and Thursdays. Is that what we had discussed that, right? And
That's the plan.
Yeah. Monday kind of being, a wrap up of the weekend, and previewing the Monday night game. Then Thursday, obviously previewing the Thursday night game and the games that are going to be going on
College
over the weekend.
and pro.
Yep. College and pro. And then I'm going to be putting together a fantasy podcast as well. It's going to be separate from this one. It's not going to say PodFathers of Sports, podcast. I want it to be separate from. It'll be us doing it, but it'll kind of be. It'll be different. Sonny's never played fantasy football, so
I'm the virgin here when
he
it comes
is.
to
So, yep.
fantasy.
So we will on this show introduce you to it. And then when we go to do our leagues and we talk about it, then, that doesn't mean we will never talk about fantasy football on this podcast. We will, but I kind of want to keep fantasy away from reality, as crazy as that sounds. I mean, sometimes it's hard to do, but
Makes sense to me.
But it's all football all the time now, baby. It's my favorite time of the year, rolling right around the corner.
Late August, early September. It's like Christmas morning.
Yeah. I look forward to the first Sunday in September.
Amen to that.
First Sunday in September is my draft, my NFL draft in the league that I've been in for, 20 years. The league itself has been around for like 28 years. It's my youngest brother's league. And that's the one team that I, pay the most attention to out of all my fantasy teams. I pay attention to all of them, and I have a shit ton of them. I won't have as many this year.
Too much work.
But
it's
it's
too
not.
much work.
Set it and forget it with some of them, So, but I enjoy doing that. I love that kind of shit,
Most of my friends, colleagues do.
Yeah. We'll get you into it. We'll get
I'm a
you
Dolphin
into
fan. I can't cheer for your defense.
So
or
it
your
was-
quarterback.
Me and I'll just touch on this real quickly. Me and my brother were talking about fantasy football. So just so you know, if I was to pull it up and show you, what the draft board looks like, quarterbacks usually go, So the top three fantasy quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. Okay, they're the big three. Okay, and typically when you're drafting, you want to wait and take them in like the third round, maybe even, the fourth if you can get away with it, depending on where you're picking in the draft.
Sure, of course.
Okay. But I make the argument, and so does my brother actually, that I'm like, well, why not pick, to me it makes sense to do this. Why not pick Patrick Mahomes first overall? He typically, in years past, he's the highest scoring fantasy player there is in football, Sonny. Just so
Okay.
you know,
That makes sense.
that's why I'm making the argument, right? So, to me, if I'm picking first, I know I'm going to have no chance of getting him. There's no way he's going, 20 more picks probably back to me. He's going to get picked in the second round. This is in the league that I'm playing in now. I can get away with that in other leagues, and now I can explain that to you later on. But anyways, this league here that I'm in. So, the strategy, we were talking about is, the number one pick in 9.5 out of 10 leagues fantasy this year is Justin Jefferson. He's the one everybody.
That makes sense.
And he should be. He should be the one everybody picks first. But I've been in a lot of these mock drafts. They're taking Patrick Mahomes first. I've seen some drafts where they take Travis Kelce first. So it all depends on how these guys, roll. But I was making the argument. I'm like, I'm okay. I'd be okay with taking Patrick Mahomes first in a fantasy draft on a 10-team league, or even more if it was a 12-team league, even more so, because he's going to be the highest fantasy scorer there is in the league. Now, if you think that's Josh Allen, maybe you take Josh Allen first. So, the drafting is easier than you think. But so, to me, that was the discussion we had. I said, as far as I'm concerned, it would make sense to me that if in the first round
Get that receiver.
Everybody picked quarterbacks. Why not? Why doesn't everybody just pick the fucking quarterback in the first round? He's going to be your highest scorer on your team. So why not pick him, get it the fuck out of the way, and then pick everybody else? Right? Does that make?
If you secure your quarterback,
When we air this is just so everybody knows. This is Friday night. The Patriots actually just kicked off 30 minutes ago. They're playing Tennessee tonight. When we air this, and it's going to be in a few days, I'm not really sure when. You know, I'd like to get some people to respond on here in the comment section on YouTube, and give them, give me their thoughts on it.
Of course.
So just for shits and giggles and fun, because people like to do this kind of stuff, early in the year. What are your predictions? I told you who I thought. I think it's going to be San Francisco and Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. And I think it's going to be Kansas City and Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game.
Okay.
Who do you have?
Well, I was about to eat my Super Bowl.
And then I'm going to be Philadelphia and Cincinnati in the Super Bowl.
I think KC and Frisco. I think Purdy's going to get them there.
I think their defense is going to get them there.
The job, and again, it's small body of work, right?
Yeah.
For Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm. You think Brock Purdy's going to beat the Eagles?
He can?
In Philadelphia? That game's going to be played in Philadelphia.
Likely, but again, this is why we watch. Let's see. I mean,
that's a hot take for you.
Well, how do we even know who Brock Purdy is?
Right.
The Miami Dolphins broke Garoppolo's foot, out of nowhere, holy shit, who's this Brock Purdy? Bang.
Yeah. I think it. You know what? I'm going to change my mind. I changed my mind. I don't think it's going to be Philadelphia and San Francisco. I think it's going to be Philadelphia and Minnesota in the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
Either way, I see Philadelphia moving on. I see Philadelphia playing Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, and I see Cincinnati winning. Finally fucking winning a Super Bowl.
The first one. That'd be great for the city. They have great fans. They do. The whole region, Midwest, they're football people.
And again, it's what's today's date? Today is August 25th. So I may come back here in 3 weeks and be like, listen, that Super Bowl prediction. Yeah, let's fucking burn that video. Let's come up with our new predictions, because you never know what's going to happen.
I think Mahomes will get us
but
third.
I think, listen, all things being equal, if we're sitting down, we're playing Madden, and we got the injuries off, I think this is the Super Bowl. I think it's the Eagles against the Bengals, and I think the Bengals win.
I have KC beating San Francisco.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So when are we going to be back in again? Do we know? We're going to try and come back next week?
If we're not back next week after,
yeah,
and then you're stuck with us, folks.
Yeah.
Till the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, yes. So the season kicks off September 7th, Thursday night. Kansas City. Who are they playing?
The Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions. Yes, I knew that.
At Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Or whatever they call it. I don't know what the hell they call it now. I can't keep up.
No, it's still Arrowhead.
It has they call it Arrowhead, but the stadium name is, who cares?
Oh, well,
it's a sea of red. It's a great place, great fans.
It's probably the best stadium in the entire NFL. It's the noisiest. I know that for sure.
The old Mile High was probably. Yeah. I don't know what it is now, but gotta love Chiefs fans, even if you're not one.
Yeah. Okay, so we had said earlier that we had been on a hiatus for a while, and that we had all, had gone on vacations and done different things. And my wife and I, as most of the people that are watching this already know this, that, we went to California for 2 weeks. And
Wally World?
We were everywhere there. I mean, Northern California, Southern California, Central California. We were in wine country. It was the greatest vacation I've ever had in my entire life.
Clark Griswold.
And to make it even better, the night before that we're leaving, the day before that we're leaving, I think. Anyways, whatever. We go out to the car that morning, and I say to my wife, I need to go to the dispensary. There's one right down the street. I want to get a pen,
When in Rome, right?
Right. So I got a pen at this store, this smoke shop that was literally next to the hotel, okay?
Convenience.
So this thing had mushroom extract in it. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the shit you get out of California is no joke. That pen lasted me a month, and I wasn't, just dabbing it a little bit.
It was like Woodstock.
The thing wouldn't end. It was the pen that never ended. That's what I kept saying. This is the fucking pen that will never end. It was just, and it was unbelievable. But anyways, that's not what the story is. We go out to where we're parked in the parking lot where the hotel was.
In the what lot? I'm sorry.
In the parking lot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, good.
I know what you're doing there. So I'm like, yeah, I got to go to the dispensary. So she was like, okay. I looked down on the fucking ground. My right hand, God, my wife will attest to this. I looked down on the ground, and there's a bag of marijuana. Like God just dropped it out of the sky. When does this ever happen?
Whoever just finds a bag of bud.
I got a horseshoe stuck up my ass with everything that's happened to me this year. I'm the first one to admit it. I'm like, God just dropped this right in front of me out of nowhere. I'm looking around, and I'm
the
like,
heavens above.
Dropped it. So I pick it up, and I get in the car, and I say to my wife, I'm like, check this out. And she was like, oh my God, well, you're not going to smoke that, are you? And I'm like, well, fuck you. What do you think? What do you want me to do with it? I said, of course I'm going to. And she's freaking out. So and I'm like, it's already all broken up in a baggie, right?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I take it out, right, and I'm smoking. I'm like, she's like, she's freaking out. I'm like, what are you freaking out for? She was like, what if it's laced with fentanyl? And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Will you stop watching the fucking news? It could be laced with fentanyl. It could kill you. I said, all right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just smoke a little bit. I'll smoke a tiny little bit. And if I start to get fucking convulsions and shit.
Or a heart attack.
My face starts to fucking slant one side, or I grab my chest and fucking say, I'm coming to join you, honey. I said, then I'll stop smoking it.
So you were the guinea pig, kind of.
Well, sort of. You know? But I told her, I said, listen, we're going to find out right away anyways. If this thing's laced with fentanyl and open the bag, you'll probably just see me keel over right then and there. Then you'll know.
I would have gone right to a hospital outside and smoked it. This way, in case something happened, you're right there.
Let me finish. I said to her, listen, no matter where we go, there's like an emergency room out there. I swear to God, like an urgent care or whatever. They're like fucking CVS out there. They're like on every corner.
Okay.
Right. So I'm like, so you just pull in, just push me out the fucking car, you know what I mean? And just be like, yeah, fentanyl overdose. They'll know what to do.
Tell them you're John Smith.
But I'm like,
and then you get out of there.
I'm like, nah, I wasn't worried about it. So that's what I did. So I smoked like, half a joint, whatever.
Because you're a careful man.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I said, and it was pretty good, not going to lie. Good stuff. Fuck, it was really good, actually. And I was like, see? Fucking nothing wrong with this. And then I smoked the rest of it, but it saved me money. I didn't have to go to the dispensary. We were going back home, back down here to Florida, where I had my medical card. So I just, come here and get it, And
then he enjoyed In-N-Out Burger, cheeseburger.
Yes.
Double.
Okay. That's the next thing I want to get on.
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about lists? I got a list for you. In-N-Out Burger is not number one. And I want to thank my sister-in-law, Kelly Matthews Ryan, for telling me to go here. Jack in the Box has a better burger than an In-N-Out Burger. I'm telling you right now.
I've eaten Jack in the Box in Texas years ago. I don't remember it being. It's probably because I was drunk and it's 2 in the morning.
Right. Well, I'm just telling you, their burger was better than In-N-Out Burger.
Really? Okay.
I don't know if In-N-Out was having a bad day this day or what. It wasn't terrible.
Because we don't have them here.
Right, it wasn't terrible, but I know we don't have either one of them here. So Jack in the Box outdid it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another place that I actually liked better than In-N-Out as well was Big Boy Burger.
That's a Michigan chain. It's a
I've
eaten there when I was a kid.
So a friend of my wife's who works for I think it's Universal Records. Okay, he works with every musician you can possibly think of. This guy works with. He's a hot shit. Great guy. Brian, what's up? Thank you for watching. So we're sitting there, and he's telling us that on Friday nights, Friday nights, Jay Leno goes to this one. It's in Burbank. We were in Burbank.
Okay,
California.
sure.
Jay Leno shows up there. Him and like some buddies or whatever, and a bunch of some other people with their fucking hot rods and shit, and they all just hang out in the parking lot and fucking, just kind of chill. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we were there on a Friday night, and they were, we were like hanging around, and they wanted to go. Well, I had some of that shit in the bag. I was out there smoking it.
You should have offered it to Jay.
Well, I didn't see Jay there. We were like hanging around. I was like, I wanted to hang around, like wait for him and stuff. But Brian was kind enough to give me a couple of pre-rolls.
Okay.
and, from a local place there. So so I was out there, smoking it, because I don't want to smoke it inside the rental car, so I'm standing outside, obviously. So we're just sitting there shooting the shit, and my wife's like, "You ready to go?" And I'm like, "No, I'm waiting for Jay." Fucking, he's like,
I went for my old buddy Jay.
so he's like, "No, he's probably not coming." I'm like, "Oh no, man, you said Friday nights. It's Friday night until midnight." I'm like, "I'm waiting for Jay. I want to see some of his cars. You know what I mean?" So
Like it's New Year's Eve.
but
You're not leaving till midnight.
yeah, no, but we got in the car and we took off. But it was I'm telling everybody out there right now, if you go nowhere, go to California. Seriously, forget what the shit you see on the news. Forget all the shit that you hear on the
It's
news.
a huge state.
It's a very large state. You stay in the areas that you really should be staying in, anyways. Did we see some homeless encampments? Yes, we did. Okay, they weren't all over the place. They didn't impede anything that we wanted to do or anywhere that we went. All the nice places that we wanted to see, the ocean and museums, whatever, parks. We went everywhere. I do know that literally right up the street, not even a block away, where we stayed at the hotel that we stayed at, they had a mob robbery a couple of weeks ago in Glendale.
A what robbery?
Mob robbery.
Okay.
20 guys get out of cars, go into a store, rob it blind, come running out, I'll get into their cars and drive away. The cars they all got into, Beamers, Lexuses, Corvettes, Rolls Royces. These are rich people robbing rich people. So I'm like, but we didn't see any of that when we were out there. Not one thing.
Yeah, you had a
didn't
great
see
trip.
any
I
of
saw
it.
your post on Facebook,
yeah.
your text.
Mhm.
You had a great. You should do that every year.
Dodger Stadium,
I watched a ball game there when I was a teenager. Mets Dodgers.
I'm telling you.
Incredible place to watch a game.
We took the tour. It was worth the $30. Well worth the $30. We toured Fenway. That was like $25.
I did that too.
God has blessed me this year, Sonny. I have been able to meet some of the most interesting, people. Whether you love them or hate them, they're interesting. He's put the right people in my life at the right time for whatever reason. Like today, when I got the pleasure to meet somebody that I've idolized my entire life, literally, in Lou Holtz. And hopefully I can talk him into maybe, a phone call, and we can air that here on the podcast.
Former
down
Notre
the
Dame
line.
head coach.
Yeah, man.
National champion.
Love Lou Holtz. I love 80, going to be 87 years old, God bless him. So a couple of the guys that I work with, one in particular, his name is Jordan. He asked him for an autograph. He had a football. He wanted him to autograph it.
Mhm.
He says, I do pictures. I don't do paintings. I was like, I like that.
Profound.
Yeah. I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So he took all the selfies, all the pictures we wanted. You can post them on social media, do whatever you want with them, you know what I mean? But no autographs.
Even when I was younger, people are typically sports fans, autograph seekers. Yeah. I never was. I'd rather shake your hand.
I don't know if we can see this. Let's see. I don't even know if I have it on me. It might be out in the car. I think it is. Yeah, I left it out in the car. He gave me a keychain. He gave us a couple of us a keychain. Yeah, I left it out in the car. It's a gold, and it's got the Notre Dame emblem on it on one side, with his signature and act like a champion every day or something to that effect is on there. I'd have to go see it.
The thing is play like a champion.
Play like a champion every day, and then you switch it over, and it's got the the dome, and it said the blessed. Whatever. I have to go read it, but I have it out in the car with all my stuff because I'm heading home tonight. But so he kind of gave us like a little souvenir, and
sweet memory.
Yeah, and the sweet memory for me wasn't the picture. It was, I got to sit down and talk football. With Lou fucking Holtz,
Notre Dame
right.
coach. Yeah,
Lou
man.
fucking Holtz. 86, going to be turning 87. He just, he was talking about how he lost his wife, recently. And, so we talked a little bit kind of about that kind of stuff and physical ailments. And, but Whitty, as the day is long, man, he'll sit here and have a conversation with you all day long. He'll probably out-talk you, So
if he ever needs a kidney, I've got one.
Yeah. So, so he was great. We had him on the set today, so that was great.
Would he take a kidney of a Miami fan?
I don't know. He might.
He might not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it depends. I mean, you didn't.
Catholics versus convicts. You
Yeah.
all remember this.
Yeah. So it's But anyways, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us once again. We are very happy and glad to be back, and it's going to be full steam ahead from here on out. Was there anything that you wanted to touch on? Wasn't there a rant you wanted to get, something you wanted to get off your chest before we blow out of here?
Off topic, we went to baseball. We talked about kind of what irked you the most this year.
Yeah.
The New York Mets, my New York Mets, with a $360 million payroll, will not make the playoffs.
Mhm.
And they had a garage sale 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where they dealt Scherzer and Verlander, 2 future Hall of Famers. If somebody can find me a bigger disgrace in sports for 2023, I'm all ears.
Yeah. I don't.
It's
yeah,
nobody in the New York Mets.
But they're not the only
Don't
ones.
bother even looking.
They're not the only ones though with big payrolls that had high expectations. Look at the Yankees; they're in last place. They were expected to They were planning on going to the World Series this year. They're a disaster.
Their payroll is almost $100 million less than the Mets.
Okay, well, I forget the Mets payroll. I understand that, but they gave that out to 2 guys.
Well, they reloaded to
Right.
make the Yankees just kind of stood pat, and this is the
Right.
team we have.
Right.
The Mets, all
But
right, this is what
San
we're doing.
Diego went out and spent money. Look, they spent a shit ton of money. They're in the cellar too.
Oh, they're in the wrong division to be doing
Right,
that.
right.
But yeah,
I know.
they're in the wrong division.
Right, and of course, I mean the Dodgers. But I'm just saying, there's other teams out there.
Yeah, you're right.
But
You're right.
The Mets are just the biggest example of it because they spent the most money. I mean,
It's
Stevie
been-
Boy's got to keep his fucking hands out of his pockets and say, okay, all right, let's do this a different
Pay
way.
money
I will.
to scout.
Are you happy at least with what they got back in return for these two gentlemen that they released?
It's too early to tell.
From what I've heard, okay, listening to like Buster Olney and stuff,
Sure.
this was a pretty good deal for them considering what they got back in return.
They got one really good
So,
prospect for
yeah.
Verlander. So,
So
let's see.
I mean, yeah, right. It's
They have a bunch of good prospects in the minors. The problem for the Mets, they're not pitchers.
Yeah.
They're all offensive players. So let's see.
I know. I'd say I feel bad for you, but I don't.
I don't either because fucking football's starting.
That's right. And my team did nothing at the trade deadline, so I just.
You have a few rings. For,
we do. We do.
Please.
And Mookie Betts comes back to Fenway Park this weekend for the first time in a Dodgers uniform. I'm really looking forward to that. So, he's going to get cheered loudly as he should.
Of course.
And the organization should be ashamed of themselves for the way that they went about that whole thing,
He should
treating
have
him.
stayed a Red Sox forever.
And they should have done the same thing for Xander. You had 2 cornerstones for your organization, and they just, Listen, I'm convinced they won their championships now. If the Red Sox, here's the thing about the Red Sox, Sonny. It doesn't matter if they suck or not. At the very least, they're going to put 20,000 people in the seats. They're going to put all those college kids in the seats. The tourists.
Tourists. Everyone wants to go to the Fenway and
Right.
Everyone wants to go
So
to
they're
Fenway,
going to
of course.
make money whether the team's good or not. You don't think they know that? Of course they know that. But they stay just good enough to stay relevant. That's why I told you at the beginning of the year. What I tell you, 87 wins, right? Now what I said to you, 87 wins. I think if we go back and look at the first podcast, I'm pretty sure that's what I said. And I stand by it. That they're a 500 baseball team, basically. I got them being a little better than 500, obviously. And they probably won't even get to that point now, depending on how this next stretch of games goes here. But I didn't have the expectations that you guys had. I didn't have the expectations that the Yankees had. I expected the Yankees to finish in first. I expected Tampa to finish in second, Toronto to finish in third, and Baltimore in fourth. Man, was I fucking wrong. So
The
Birds are for
job
real,
that
man.
they've done,
The
it's
Birds are for real.
incredible.
And
It's a
here's
great
another
story.
thing, by the way. I want to touch on this really quick while we have baseball open. The deal with Shohei Ohtani, man, that dude now probably just lost himself about $500 million. Coming up with this ACU, is that what it is? ICU, ACU, whatever.
UCL? Yeah,
UCL. I'm sorry, UCL.
So he's not pitching for the foreseeable future.
No, and they're probably not going to have him pitch next year, so you're not going to sign him that same amount of money that you were going to sign him. I mean, this isn't the first Tommy John surgery he's having. This is the second Tommy John surgery he's having.
They were thinking $50 million. I don't know how much it'll be reduced.
So it
not
just,
much. I mean, maybe they signed
listen.
him
He
and
was
they
going.
paid him.
Somebody was going to sign him for 10 years at probably
$500 million.
No, That's what he'll probably get now. He was going to sign probably for 10 years at $800 million. You were going to get a top-notch ace and a top-notch hitter.
Babe Ruth, basically.
Right. That you're getting better than Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
So,
That
but
sounds
now
so
you're not
crazy.
getting that. And if he was smart, maybe he says, fuck pitching. Because he can play the field. He can play first base. He can play left field.
At some point, he's going to do that.
Right. He's got good speed. He doesn't have to be a DH. The reason he's DHing is because he has to, because he's a pitcher.
Of course.
So, I'm not going to get into all that right now. But anyways, so my point you're bringing up Shohei Ohtani and about losing is I wonder now if the Angels are sorry that they didn't make a deal when teams were probably offering the
now they
fucking
but
everything for him.
you're going to overthink that forever. Not you. I mean, anybody would.
Yeah.
At that trading deadline, realistically, they're in the hunt.
I know. See,
But they're
that's
not.
what Billy said last night too. And I said to him,
They're in the wrong division.
yeah, but they weren't going to win the World Series.
You're right. And what I've said is they're in the wrong division. You have Houston and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than you.
Right.
You have this more past a weapon. I would have been scared to death to deal him. Either way, you're almost screwed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a tough one.
Yeah.
They were I don't know what 5, 6, 7 games out of a wild card. You have to be thinking, especially to sell your fan base. We're still in this.
Why not re-sign him up before now is really the question I have. I mean, I don't know.
His agent's probably saying,
Sure.
"We want $60 million a year.
Well,
we're going to give you $40 million a year."
Well, I'm also thinking that they're thinking, well, a bidding war.
Oh yeah.
I mean, why are we going to sign with you? And we know that 29 other teams are going to be vying for him, which isn't true. There's only three teams that can afford him.
I was about to say half a dozen, but yeah, less.
No, there's
yeah.
three. There's only three that can afford him. The Yankees can afford him. The Dodgers can afford him. And I think the Giants can afford him. Nobody else can afford him.
You don't think the Sox can afford him?
It's not a
They have to be
matter of
willing to
it's not a matter of affording. First of all,
Are you willing to go?
do
up
you
the
want to
luxury
know
tax?
why the Dodgers can afford anybody that they want to go buy? Do you know why this is?
Probably because Magic Johnson's one of their owners.
No, that's not why. I'm going to tell you why. Because they have the best entire farm system in all of baseball. They have the most chips to move to get good players. That's why. That's what they've built their entire. And guess what? If they don't get those big players, they call those guys up and they turn into Cody Bellinger. They turn into Max Muncy. They turn into those guys, and then they keep them for a few years.
They
so-
built a good system.
Exactly.
Tampa
That's
has two, but they haven't won yet.
No, but Tampa won't spend the money. When these guys reach a
Exactly.
threshold, they let them go. The Dodgers don't. I heard the Dodgers general manager say once that they have two payrolls. They have the regular payroll, and then they have the payroll that they know they're going to have because they're going to go over that luxury tax on purpose.
Of course.
Fuck do you care if you go over it or not? It's only money.
You're the Dodgers.
Right. But listen, we got to fly and get out of here. We're getting ready. We're up against the clock here. And again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. And you can find us on YouTube, X, and Facebook. PodFathersofSports.com. I'm Jerry Ryan. He's Sonny Palmer. Be better tomorrow
See ya.
than you were today. Peace.